In this video, we're going to create some more complex interactions, including state-based interactions, which are really where your PDFs and online documents can come alive. So I'm going to start by placing an Illustrator file I have. And basically, this Illustrator file has several artboards of the same circle with different colors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create what's called a state-based animation where as we interact with this button in the PDF or in our online document, in this case, it's going to change colors. So before we were simply clicking things, in this case, it's actually going to change colors and still be interactive. So I'm just going to go ahead and place this previewed page to start with. Okay, that's good. And I'm going to show you the rest of my document. So I have this is page 1. Page 2, we're going to swap this image out with a different image whenever we mouse over. Page 3, 4, and 5 all have the same text on them. So we're going to hop around a little bit and have some fun with this. So let's click this. I'm going to right-click Interactive Convert to Button, or I could click my Buttons and Forms window and click Convert to Button button. Now that it's converted, I give it a name. I'm going to call this Circle 1. And we'll say whenever I click this, I want to go to the next page. Okay, simple enough, right? Let's just double check that that's working. And it's working. Okay, great. Now let's click back on it. Now notice, you might have seen this before, in the buttons menu, we haven't been messing with this bottom section. There's a whole appearance section down here which has different states that you can change the appearance of your button with. So for example, this is the normal state. This is whenever we haven't clicked on it, we haven't moved our mouse over it, it's just sitting there. This one, whenever I click it, it's going to make that. It's almost like a new layer. See, I can hide and show it with the eyeball. This is the rollover state. So this is what we want our button to look like whenever we have our mouse over it. And then the last state we have here is the click state. So this is what it's going to look like whenever I'm clicking on it. Okay, so each of these can be modified using various different techniques. We could come up here and change some options up here. We could change other options. And as long as we have that specific state selected, so if I have this selected and I'm changing options, those changes will only be on that specific option. This also goes doubly so for replacing images. So in this case, I'm going to replace this with a different artboard from my Illustrator file. I'm going to do that by double-clicking the image. I'm going to double-click it again to make sure I have my orange selection where it's directly selected. I'm going to place my Illustrator file by doing Command D. And I'll choose that second image. Now notice whenever I did that, I had my rollover selected and I had this selected. I'm just going to say OK. So it's going to replace that. If I click back on it, I can see my button. So now I have this normal state and this rollover state. I'm going to go over this again slowly just so that you understand all of it. Let's do the click state now. So I click on the click state. I'm going to double click this and double click it one more time. Command D, or I could go File, Place. It's the same thing. And I'm going to place the next page of my Illustrator file. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and just publish this. Say Update Existing, Publish. So now it has different states. So I have my mouse off of it, my mouse over it, and then whenever I click it, now you can't see the click, right, because I have another interaction there. But the second I click it, it's changing yellow. Let's make another new button and play with that one instead. So this is the case for if we make it outside of InDesign, which is usually what you're going to be doing, right? You're going to be making your buttons in Illustrator or in Photoshop or something else. Let's go ahead and make one in InDesign. Okay, so I've selected this. I'm going to convert it to a button. I'll call this polygon button. We'll do an on click. And in this case, we're going to go to a destination. I'm going to show you how to do that later. For now, we're just going to leave it on go to destination. And I just need to click each of these to activate them. All right, so now I have my rollover selected, so let's change the color to something else. So you notice it only changed on that one. Now let's click the click state. Okay, great. So I have 3 states. So my normal, my rollover, and my click. Now that I think about it, I'm actually going to remove this interaction for now, just so that we can look at this without, we can look at the clicking without having to do something else. I'll go ahead and hit Publish Online, Update Existing. And this is the best way to just preview your stuff. It's by publishing it online and making sure it actually works there. So there's the default state. When we mouse over, it changes to yellow, and now I'm holding down my click and it changed to magenta. Same over here. Great. We're back in InDesign. I'm going to hit close. Now we were trying to add that action of going to a destination before, and I removed it, but let's go ahead and add that back. So a destination basically is the, go to a specific page. Really, that's what it's doing. It's going to a specific point in our document. So it asks me, what document am I using? I'm going to just use this one. I haven't named it yet, so it's Untitled 2. And I can't select any destinations. That's because I don't have any bookmarks created. We talked about bookmarks very briefly in the last video. I'm going to show you how to make one now. I want this to take me to page 4. I'm going to scroll down. In my Pages menu, I'm going to make sure I have page 4 selected. I'm going to go to my Bookmarks window. If you don't see that, go Window, Interactive Bookmarks. And there's the little new button here. And whenever we click that, it's going to add a bookmark. So I'll call this page 4 and hit Return. Let's go back to page 1. Select this. I have Go to Destination, and look, it selected page 4. Let's go to the next thing. So now I want to swap this image with a new image. I'm going to swap this Mario out for a Luigi. So I don't actually want any interaction. Like, I don't care about it, clicking and going to the next thing. I just want to see that little swap interaction of, like, whenever I mouse over it, it changes to Luigi. Whenever I mouse off, it changes to Mario. Okay, so let's click it. We need to convert it to a button. Doesn't matter, I don't need to add any actions. I can still do all of these appearance modifications. So rollover, and I don't need one for click, so I'm not going to click that. I just need one for rollover and one for normal. So let's go ahead and replace this image, and I do that simply by double-clicking it, and then I double-click it one more time so that I have the image itself selected. Then I'm going to go File, Place, and I found my Luigi, and I'm going to hit OK. And he probably needs to be adjusted a little bit. Okay. Looks good to me. Let's keep building some interactions here. So I'm going to go down here and I will make a simple shape with my pen tool. Okay, great. I'm going to select it, convert it to a button. I'll give it a rollover appearance, and I'll say on click, we're going to go to the next page. Let's make another new button. This time I'll make kind of a funky looking arrow. Not great. Probably should make that in Illustrator. We'll do the same thing. We'll convert it to a button. I'll change this to on click, and we'll say go to previous page. I'll give this a different rollover. Maybe in this rollover I'll have it change colors, and I'll also give it a stroke. So it just looks really terrible. All right, let's go ahead and test this out. So I'm going to save my document. Publish online. And let's take a look at all these great state-based animations that we've created quite easily in InDesign. So I have my mouse over. Whenever I click, it takes me to the second page. Have my swap here, right? There's no interaction on this, which is what I wanted. This will take me to the next page. This will take me to the previous page.